So today I wanted to make a quick video on troubleshooting and dealing with replacing a faulty transmitter board on a Davis VP2. So this would normally be after you've contacted us and we've managed to diagnose that there is a fault on the board. I'm just going to take off the external cover so we can delve a little bit further into it. So we may have walked you through some troubleshooting exercises where we've popped up dip switch number 4 and we're not seeing a green flashing LED, and you've lost transmission to maybe a WeatherLink Live, a console, or an Enviromonitor gateway. And then what we've done is we've said, okay, we've got a faulty board there, and we need to replace it with a straight swap out, which is this here. As you can see, identical to one that you've already got in place. So the first thing we would do, as I've already done, is remove the air cover and then unclip the solar panel on the little connectors there. So I've done that already. Then what we want to do is we want you to make sure that you have seen which dip switches are set and which ones aren't. So on this one we have up, down, and then up, and number 4 would normally be off anyway. That's the test switch. So when we put the new board in, we just need to remember to replicate that so that the channel is the same. The next thing we'd want to do is we want to remove the bung from in the bottom. That might be in a little bit tight. There we go. So we want to remove the rubber bung. Don't lose that one, so I'll pop that in my pocket. And then we need to remove the cables. So if you've got temp hum, we haven't got a anemometer fitted to this one at the moment, but you'd obviously remove your anemometer. Rainfall, sun, and UV if you've got the sun and UV fitted. So these can be a little bit fiddly to get out. So what we'll do is we'll just undo those, and then you just need to fiddle around and get those all slid through the back one at a time through the little hole which is underneath here. So we'll do that and then we'll move on to the next step. So as you can see, I've removed all the individual sensor cables through the hole at the back there. Next thing I want to do is remove the battery. Obviously we want to make sure that it's a good battery. So what I'm then going to do, I'm then going to pop the battery into the new board, and as you can see I've replicated the dip switch settings on the new board. The next thing to do is to remove the rain cone, which I've then done. So what we then want to be able to do is to access the clip which is at the back of the board, the transmitter board, so that then will release the transmitter from the main assembly, and we'll look at that in a little bit more detail now. Okay, so this is a little bit of a trial and error, but what we can see, and we've got basically a clip that clips the transmitter board onto the housing of the weather station. I'd like to be able to give you a tip on how to do it, but it's really a little bit of trial and error and how much force you need to give. You'll feel it when it just clicks off. You want to make sure you put your hand underneath the existing transmitter board first, because otherwise it will just drop to the floor. So what I think is the easiest way of doing it is putting your hand over the top, and then you can kind of see you've got your fingers in place, and then you want to gradually just apply some pressure, and if you heard that clip or click, then we can just lift the transmitter board away, and we're left with that piece which connects it onto the weather station. So we'll take this away, and then what we'll do is we'll take the new one that we were just setting up a few minutes ago with the dip switches and the new battery in. So we've got like a hole at the bottom here on a clip. So that needs to slide underneath the main housing. And what I'll do is I'll take the phone and just show you that now. So there is the sort of clip that I was talking about, and there is sort of the housing that we're going to slot down the other piece of plastic over. So what we want to do is, and it's not easy to show, is basically slide that underneath, so you can then see that you've got a clear, kind of a clear view down there, such as that, and then this will go backwards and we'll slide the other clip on. So what we're going to do, I'm going to introduce that onto the back there, as we were looking at a few minutes ago, and then I'm going to take our little plastic housing or clip, whatever we want to call it, and this is where it's a little bit trial and error, but you'll see that it fits nicely into the slot at the back, and then push down and you'll hear it click into place. Give the transmitter board a wiggle, make sure it's nice and sound, and it's as simple as that. You know, it might take a couple of goes just to get that all aligned, but you will find that it will just slot into place, and away you go. So the next part of the procedure is to obviously put all our cables back through the hole, one at a time. What I normally do as a tip is probably start with the biggest one, which is actually the temperature humidity, which goes on this side, and then slide that right to the side out the way, pop that one in like so, and then we'll pop the others in. So that's all my cables popped back in. Obviously, if you had the anemometer fitted, you would then obviously attach that one. So not forgetting to put the foam rubbery bung back in, and then that is basically that bit done. What I'd probably suggest then is popping up dip switch number 4, and then what we should see at some point, which can take up to sort of 30 seconds or so, even a bit longer, we'll see a flashing LED, and we can probably, if we turn down the light, we can probably see that just there, and that's a good sign that it's all working. And then remember to put that back off again, otherwise you will flatten the battery very quickly. Final part would then be to replace the solar panel. So again, we're going to connect that back up using the 2 pins up here. There we go, and then get that into place, and we'll then find that will, once we get that aligned, find the alignment, and you'll hear that just click into place. Shouldn't be pushable, shouldn't be any cables or anything trapped in the bottom. And that is our replacement transmitter board done.